Hello, everybody. I am coming on here to chat with you guys today about a few things. I'm just going to be talking about a few different kinds of myths, three common myths that are associated with mediumship, which are really good to dispel. And I'll also be talking about, looking at my notes, I'll also be talking about the first couple of years of, not first couple of years, but the first, how to begin your mediumistic development. That's a question that I get a lot from people today. Hi, Robin. Hi, Beatrice. How are you? I hope you're doing well. And then I'll probably have some time for questions and answers. So if you have them along the way, feel free to just shoot them in the little message thing. So that's what you should do. So to start off, I'd like to talk about the three common myths. Sorry, I keep hitting the table. Three common myths when it comes to mediumship. So number one of the biggest myths that I see and is oftentimes portrayed in the media is this idea that mediums are always open, that they're always walking around with their awareness sort of open and they're constantly feeling into the atmosphere. And one of the things that always makes me laugh is when I tell someone I'm a medium, they go, "Oh, do you feel anything around me? Who are you picking up on around me? Like, do you get anything?" I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that one at a bar and things like that. So very, very not a thing. So the reality is, so expectation, mediums are always open. The reality, they're not. In fact, it's super important for a medium to develop the ability to turn it on and turn it off. What does that even mean? So there's going to be varying levels of awareness within different people and their mediumistic awareness. So there's going to be some people who are, much more sensitive than others. There's going to be others who have to kind of work at that a little bit more. However, both have to learn how to kind of turn that thing on and turn that thing off. When you're in your normal waking life, that's not when you want to be attuning to the atmosphere. You need to be living your life here. You need to be experiencing everything that's happening here in a very real way. Hi, Jeanette. And also, hi, Charlotte. So what a medium has to learn to do is, when is it the right and appropriate moment to open your awareness to become sensitive to the spirit? Now, does it happen that occasionally you may feel the presence of a spirit when you're not necessarily, working or in the mode of, about to give a reading? Sure, that can happen. However, it's the responsibility of the medium to know when it's appropriate and when it's not. One of my biggest pet peeves are what I call leaky faucets. So those are people who will constantly be giving, "Oh, I feel this. Oh, I feel that. Oh, I'm getting this," and like everything. I mean, constantly. That is not the way to be. Part of the reason why is because that can lead to poorer discernment, not realizing what is spirit and what is actually just your brain thinking things. And it's super important for a medium to be able to discern those two different things. So mediums aren't always open. If they are, and they're saying that they are, I would be concerned, because that's not how people live life, and that's not how mediums should be doing that either. It's taxing on the energetic systems, and it's also just poor ethics to be going around just sort of feeling into everyone's stuff. So it's super important to realize that. So no, mediums are not constantly feeling and picking things up. It's you turn it on, you turn it off. That's the responsibility of the medium. The second thing that I want to mention is mediumship, and this is one you hear a lot in the New Age movement and in a lot of that sort of thing. Mediumship is low vibration. I cannot tell you how much that annoys me because it's not. Mediumship is absolutely one of the best tools for helping someone to discover and discern their own spiritual gifts. Why? Because in mediumship, we're required to provide evidence for what comes through. So we have to be able to give some sort of validation or some sort of proof that tells us the perceptions that we are receiving are accurate, are correct. And so it's so important for people to understand that actually mediumship is a fabulous gateway into learning discernment within your own spiritual awareness. Now, as far as it being low vibration, you often hear that, people say that regarding because it's a person who once lived, but I'm just only going to talk to the angels, and I'm only going to talk to ascended masters, and blah, 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 blah. No, the spirit is spirit. All spirit is love, right? And yes, you might have Aunt Sally who is now departed, and she may not have the same perspective as maybe a guide or something like that. But that doesn't mean that they are somehow less than, or they're somehow closer to the earth plane and things like that. So I think a lot of that is ego traps. Quite frankly, a lot of people are like, oh, I only work with the highest and most pure vibration. I'm just like, oh my God. Okay. Do you even know? Can you even give a normal message? Can you, like, this is the thing that always makes me laugh. I'm like, okay, you can't reach this lower vibration and actually be able to bring through correct and specific, accurate information. What makes you think that now you can somehow access this higher plane of existence that is far more removed from us if you can't actually first reach the most basic and mundane level, which is those, and if according to them, obviously, I don't actually think of it as basic and mundane, but I think of it as very vital. The other thing people forget is there's all kinds of mediumship. So there isn't just, the mental mediumship talking to departed loved ones, but also trance mediumship. And through trance and the altered states, we've been able to receive all kinds of beautiful philosophy. Silver Birch is a perfect example through his medium, Maurice Barbanel. There's been plenty of people who brought through such beautiful, uplifting, spiritually unfolding information. And that's all come through mediumship. So what people have to realize is mediumship isn't actually just one thing. Mediumship is many things. It is healing is a form of mediumship. It's the highest form of mediumship. Mediumship is also, communication through to the spirit, but also communication to guides and those sorts of things. So let's not limit it in that way, and let go of this idea that somehow, you should be able to, bypass these low level people. I mean, that's just not true. So mediumship isn't low vibration. It's actually a really good starting point for you to actually learn to discern and understand your own spiritual awareness. So it's actually a positive, fabulous thing. So, yes. So the third thing that I wanted to talk about is you are either a medium or you're not. This one might raise some eyebrows depending on what your perspective is on this and if you are in the mediumistic world. And this idea that mediumship is like the gift, right? I've had many people come to me like, oh, well, you have the gift. So it's like, you must know, and I can't know these things. And again, I don't want people to think that, it's limited to certain people. I actually don't believe that. I think originally I had that sort of concept. I was like, okay, yeah, some people are mediums, some people aren't mediums. And in some ways, I would say that's true. I mean, not everyone's going to go become a medium and do this work for other people. But that's not to say that people can't actually develop some level of their mediumistic awareness. It's just what we oftentimes have to find with this is that the problem isn't in someone's ability to connect. The problem is here. Hi, Linda. The problem is between their ears, right? The brain. They have a hard time getting out of that way so that they can allow their gifts to sort of unfold, right? So it's not so much that it's not possible, it's how much work is someone willing to put in to discover the extent of their mediumistic awareness. I hope that makes sense. So I don't believe necessarily that some people, I think it was Eileen Garrett not Eileen Garrett, Gladys Osborne Leonard said that amazing trance medium of the past, she's known as the queen of spiritualism. She said that, for some people, it's just closer to the surface, right? And Eileen Davies, one of my teachers whom I love dearly, close friend of mine, talks about how mediumship is revealed rather than necessarily something that's already there. It's something that unfolds. It's a natural unfoldment of what is possible, right? So that's the other thing, is I don't think of mediumship so much as a gift as a skill, something that is developed, right? So that's not to say that some people, it's a little bit easier for them to access that information. I think that is a very true fact. Some people, that is much more to the surface. Why? Perhaps abuse in their life, perhaps abuse in their parents' life, because when you have to constantly be feeling for danger, that's going to develop your intuitive abilities. You're learning to start to pay attention to other subtle cues, right? So I feel that it's more of a skill because it is something that can be developed. How do we develop it? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly what I'm going to go into next. So just wanted to dispel that just for once and for all. I don't know. I really don't think that, you either are born with a gift or you're not born with a gift. I think we're all born with something. We just have to, because that's our nature. We're spiritual beings, right? Like, you're not just this body. You're not just your thoughts. You're not just your feelings. You're so much more. So how do we access that other thing? We access it through learning to quiet and still the mind, which I'm going to go into next. So how do we develop this kind of thing? So feel free to ask any questions, because once I am done with this, once I'm done kind of explaining what I would suggest if you're wanting to develop mediumship and your intuitive awareness, I'm going to take any questions that you guys have. So feel free to throw them out there. So what I want to say is, if you want to develop mediumship, where do you begin? How do you start? The biggest, and I think the most challenging thing that I think kind of ends up being the sort of journey you go on, is really learning how to quiet and still your mind. That is one of the biggest and most vital and important steps of developing mediumship. It's the ability to allow your awareness, your own thoughts and thinking, to just become calm, become quiet, become still, so that you can then become receptive. A really good way of thinking about how mediumship works and why it works is thinking of it in the sense of, if we can think of the brain not as the source of consciousness, but rather what's the word I'm looking for? Condenser of consciousness, like a receiver. That's probably the best word. So a receiver of consciousness. What we need to do to access more of what our awareness is learn to get out of here. Learn to get out of stuck between this, little human brain that we have. We have to learn to quiet and still the mind. How do you do that? Breathing, learning meditation, learning how to allow your mind to become passive and receptive. We're so trained in this life to focus our awareness and do and act and be. What we've never really been taught, or at least most of us haven't, is how to become still, how to become quiet, how to let go of the active and thinking mind. So it's super important for you to learn to develop and quiet and still the mind, where there's very little activity, or you're learning to just allow the thoughts to not interfere, so that you can become aware of this other realm of reality, if that makes sense. Because once we start to quiet our thinking mind, our awareness, our little monkey brain, we begin to allow the focal point of our awareness to begin to move up into this higher space, where there isn't limitations of time and space, where we're able to actually access more of our awareness and our sensitivity to what is around, what is present, things that our normal survival brain is oftentimes either not paying attention to or not attuned to. So really what we're learning to do is to pay attention to a different stimulus. We're learning to quiet the active thinking mind so that our awareness can then move into this higher space, and we're able to access information that we otherwise would not be able to do. So hopefully that makes sense. The second thing I have to mention is, and I have to say this like a broken record for any of you who work with me, is sitting in the power and becoming aware of what your own energy feels like. Sitting in the power is so great because it, one, helps you to learn to quiet and still the mind, but number two, it helps you to develop your own spiritual energy. So your own ability to hold a link, to make that connection with the spirit world. But really, in the process of doing this, building the power that you all have to go through, you're actually learning to become sensitive to the stimulus that's coming to you from the other world. So you learn to start to feel the energy. You learn to start to feel what's you and what's not you. You become familiar with, what do I feel like when I'm in my own energy, my own power, my own sort of thing, and then what does it feel like when something else comes into that? Because when I'm working mediumistically, I'm responding to a stimulus. I'm not just like thinking and guessing and like getting information that way. No, I'm actually responding to a stimulus that is happening to me. And that's because I'm now paying attention to this very subtle vibration. So sitting in the power is going to help you to develop that. So it helps you with calming and stilling the mind. It helps you to learn to feel and perceive energy. And then lastly, it's going to help you to build the power, which is going to help you to be able to hold a link, make a link, the spiritual energy in that way. So that's super important. The last thing I would mention too, if you're interested in developing your mediumistic awareness, you want to learn to be able to describe these experiences and these feelings that you're having as you are, learning to feel the presence and the energy and all of that sort of thing. Because ultimately what's going to happen is when you're working mediumistically, you're having stimulus, you're having experience, and it's actually that experience, that change from what's you to what's not you, you're actually learning to describe and express, because that's actually where you're getting your information from. So it's not coming in this beautifully little packaged thing all the time, right? It's coming in this experience combined with this experience combined with this experience. Now I have a total picture of what is happening. Not to mention, it's super important when you are working mediumistically to not jump to what you think is going on, but rather describe the experience that you're having, because that's going to make more sense to the person who's receiving the information rather than you trying to understand it. I know for myself, there's been times where I'm giving a reading and I'm just describing my experience and I'm thinking I have the idea of what it is, but I'm being good. And I'm not letting my own thoughts, infiltrate, or my own interpretation to infiltrate the message and the connection, the communication with the spirit. But rather, I'm allowing myself to just describe the experience. And then at the end, I hear from the person how that all fit with them, which made perfect sense to their experience. But that was not what I was interpreting it as, right? But it's not about us understanding it. It's about us conveying the information. That's the point of being a medium, right? That's the whole point. You're just the in-between guy. You don't have to be the one that's, interpreting and explaining it all. It's just be the in-between guy or girl and or all other in-between. Be that and just let that message to pass through you rather than from you, right? So there's that. Hi, Wendy. From Australia. You're in Australia. Okay, awesome. So that is basically what I wanted to pop on here to kind of express and share with you. Any questions at all about either mediumship, your mediumship development, anything at all with any of this stuff? So I'm just going to give you guys a couple minutes to just ask anything if you're still watching and still interested and have any questions. This is my mother's green juice because it's delicious. Let's see here. Robin, you said, we're all born with ability. It's a choice, question mark? I think we're all kind of here for different purposes, and not everyone's meant to be here to be a medium. And moreover, I don't know that, I think the more that we can accept our spiritual awareness and have a deeper understanding of what our spiritual awareness is, I think we start to develop some of the, fruits of the spirit: compassion, patience, kindness, forgiveness, all those things Because the more we understand our true nature, which I ultimately believe is love, it's just love, I think we actually allow ourselves to be more of that rather than getting caught up in the sort of the petty things of life. So that's just sort of, and so is it a choice? Yeah, it's a choice to be aware of it, right? It's a choice to be aware of it. It's a choice to develop it. So yeah. Beatrice, do you have any Sitting in the Power recordings for purchase? You know what? I actually do. I have multiple types of Sitting in the Power. The only thing is I haven't yet put them out onto my website. I should be doing that very, 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 very soon. We were getting the last edits done. So I built actually a whole CD of different things, Sitting the Power at multiple different lengths. So there's a 10-minute, which I'm probably just gonna be giving out for free anyway. There's a 30-minute, and there is an hour version of Sitting in the Power. So those will be coming out very, very soon. I just have to make sure that all the edits are right and all of that with that. And then, so yes, the answer is yes. There'll also be other meditations like connecting with your guide. So something a practice that you can do to learn to develop and feel the presence of your guide, which is really important. I believe I did something for like calming in the present moment. I'm trying to remember because I recorded these a little bit while ago. And we've had to keep sending them back for edits. And so, yeah, so the answer is yes, and it will be coming out very soon, and it'll be linked on my website, so you'll be able to purchase those there. Oh, thank you, Beatrice. That's very sweet. Any other questions that I can answer, explain, explore, describe? I'll give you just another minute. This is your moment to ask. You should ask anything that you have a question about. So any questions on mediumship, psychic awareness, any questions on anything at all? Personal, anything, literally. The floor is yours. You do with it what you want. Giving you a couple of minutes to ask anything about mediumship, psychic things. People are going to start getting off this thing just because I'm singing along. That's hilarious. Okay, I'm going to give you one more minute because then I'm going to go eat some food and take a nap because we're teaching tonight, or me and the mouse in my pocket are teaching tonight. At Awakenings, we're doing Spirit Circle Sunday, which is very fun. The first class that I ever started teaching about 4 years ago. So Spirit Circle is a great way to develop your mediumship. Hopefully you have a good teacher who's going to teach you great things and not things that I'll have to undo, or other teachers will have to undo. Remember that within mediumship, there should never be tension. There should be freedom. There should be love. There should be harmony. If you're not experiencing that in your Spirit Circle, find a new Spirit Circle, start your own Spirit Circle, sit by yourself, do something. We don't want to have, negativity in our circles. Right, so Linda asked, how much time would you suggest we spend each day with Spirit? That's going to depend largely on you and how much time you have to spend with Spirit. And I think more so, not necessarily spending it, excuse me, with Spirit per se, but maybe your own spirit, your own internal sense of being, your own power and energy. I think that's really important. And then also, inviting the Spirit to draw close to you and just to be, not giving a message, not trying to accomplish something, but rather just learning to be still in the presence of that divine spirit, of that divinity, that connection that you have with the Great Spirit, and also your own spirit. Because remember, you too are divine. We oftentimes forget that because we're inside this little body here, and we think, oh, we're so limited, and oh, we're not capable, and all of the things that we tell ourselves. But in reality, you are that expression. That thing that you seek already resides within you. And that is the beauty of remembering that. That's what unfolds us. That's what brings us that confidence and that awareness of our own gifts, our own thing. So to answer your question, I would say that, it depends on how much time you have. If you have 5 minutes, spend 5 minutes. That's better than 0 minutes. If you have 30 minutes, better, much better. If you have an hour, my teacher Eileen will still sit for an hour each day in the power. She's one of the most amazing, incredible mediums they are working today. And she spends an hour a day. So it's just about you. It's like, what do you need? What do you feel called to do? I know for myself, I like to sit rather regularly because I do this work. And I notice that when I don't do this work, my attunement takes longer. It's not as clear, it's not as specific, but if I give myself a lot of time to sit with spirit, sit with the other world, sit with my own power and energy, I notice a huge difference. So if you aren't feeling that, if you aren't experiencing that, the more you sit, the more you're going to experience. So something to just think about. Wendy, is it too late to join your online mediumship course? No, it's definitely not too late. So it's an open circle. So I do every Thursday there is an online mediumship class. It's $20, and it's super cool. It's every Thursday Pacific Standard Time. Well, this would be right now we're in Pacific Daylight Savings Time, but 7 o'clock, and it goes until 8:30. And we do it through Zoom. All that information should be on my website. And it's awesome. I'm absolutely loving it. I was so surprised at how well it works. And like everyone seems to be really enjoying it. People keep coming back. And so it's just started. I originally just put it for 6 weeks. But I'm going to keep going with it anyway because I really enjoy it. So it's not just a place to practice your mediumship. It's literally a class. So I'm instructing, we're doing talking, we're answering questions. It's not just like go into a room and work with a partner and then that's all you're doing. No, it's literally like it's what I would do in my spirit circles here. So Thursday nights, so awesome. I love them. If you can make it, I highly recommend it because I was surprised it worked as well as it does. Zoom's great for that. So you can join. And then, Beatrice, where do your circles take place at? My circles take place here in Southern Orange County where I live, except for the online one, which, everyone can join wherever you are. But yeah, they take place here. I have a Monday night spirit circle with... that's at Awakenings Bookstore in Laguna Hills. I have a Monday day spirit circle that's in Mission Viejo at In Spirit, and that is 11 to 1 in the day. That's for the moms who need to run and pick up their kids after they drop them off. So there's that one. And then I teach a trance class on Tuesdays in Costa Mesa. At Visions and Dreams. And then do I do other classes? I also run home circles. So I do a home circle class, which is I'm probably going to be doing another round. That's a closed group of people who are together. So that one's really good too. So actually, it's probably my favorite thing that I do. So I need to actually put that one back up because I haven't done one in a while. So, but yeah, so all the stuff that I do is here. If you're interested in having me come to where you are, because I will be working most likely in Vancouver, I'm going to be doing a demonstration with AJ Barrera in August. That'll be down here as well. But I am looking to kind of be traveling to teach. So if you want me to come to your area and you can get some people together, happily we'll do that. So just let me know. So just, yeah, because I got some, it doesn't cost me much to fly, which is really cool. So just let me know and I can see what's in my calendar if you're interested in that. Any last things here? I'm coming up on that 30-minute mark, and that's usually when I jump out of here. But I hope that this video was informative. I hope that you were able to get something out of it. If you like it, please like and share it with people that might also find the information interesting, because the more that we can put good information out there, and not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I have some nice helpful tips for people. The more that we can do that, the better. So yeah, let me know. Again, Thursday nights is online class, so you're welcome to join. You're welcome to come. Right now, I have it set up on Eventbrite, but Eventbrite's having some issues. Like I think I have to redo that. But if you are interested in joining, just shoot me an email, because you can always pay in other ways. You can pay just me directly through either Venmo or PayPal or whatever, and then I'll send you the link for the class. So just shoot me a message if you're interested in the Thursdays. It's really fun. You just need access to a camera and a microphone and all that good stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was, something. It's been on my mind to kind of start talking about, okay, how do we begin the development process within mediumship? So I'm going to keep doing a little bit more of this, because I really want to encourage people to start developing their abilities and to develop what they can from and what's the most effective way. So anyway, thank you so much to everyone for watching. Again, if you know someone or groups of people or whatever who are interested in this kind of thing and you think this will be helpful, then share it with them. So I'm just going to send you lots of love from my heart to yours, and thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you, work with you, experience with you soon. I just gotta end it.